Hola and welcome to Linditas Kitchen. I am Lindita and today I am bringing you my ultimate birria recipe and it's going to be so easy and fun to make. So we're going to get started right away because there's a couple steps that I want to go and show you every step of the way. So we're going to start out with our meat, and what I have here is, this is for a 5-pound recipe. And I'm using the chuck pot roast, and it's about 3.5 pounds. And I'm using the shank steak, and I just love it because it's so tender, and together they just marry really well. And the moisture and the seasoning that I'm going to be adding to this is just the ultimate. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my meat here. I'm going to cut this in about, I'm just going to cut it in fourths. Okay, so I'm going to go this way. I'm going to cut right down the middle, nice and thick. So we're going to set it right in our pot, and it's a lot of meat. And again, you can, I always say again, but you can cut this recipe in half. So, but the leftovers, I'm telling you, you got to have leftovers. It's not the same. Okay, so with this, you want to leave the bone with the shank, and I'm going to just cut this because this is a bigger piece. I'm going to cut that in half. I'm going to add it to my bowl here. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to wash my hands really quick. And then I'm going to add my seasonings. My seasonings that are just wonderful. Yeah. You're going to add 6 cloves of garlic. Okay, we're just going to toss them in. 3 bay leaves. 1 tablespoon of the salt, and I'm using a kosher salt for this recipe. And 1 teaspoon of your black horse pepper. And a half a teaspoon of the cumin, and I'm using a cumin, ground cumin. And guess what? We're going to throw in 1 whole onion, and I'm using a yellow onion. And what do you do next? Okay, we're going to add some water. I'm going to just see how far you want to cover this all the way to the top where it's covering the meat. Perfect. And that was about 8 cups. You can add a little bit more, and what you want to do is we're going to put it on the range and we're going to turn up the heat. You want it on a boil, and once it starts to boil, you bring it down, and we're going to do like a medium high, and it's going to cook for about 2 to 2.5 hours depending on your range. Okay, so this looks really good right now, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it on my range. All right, let's do it. Whoa. Yep, on a high. We're going to cover it. And now we're going to get started on our sauce. Let's do it. Now we have our peppers. This is a big one, and this is the guajillo pepper. And we're going to use the ancho. I have 2 ancho, and then about 14 to 16 depending. You want this size, but they do come in a variety of different sizes. Like this, right? So, you know, you can add a little bit more, but I would say about 14 to 16. It's up to you. All right, so what we want to do is take off the little tops, the little head, and then you open them up. Okay, like this. You can use a knife, but I prefer to use my fingers, and I'm using gloves just because, you know, your hands do get a little on the red side, and you don't want to wreck those nails, I'll tell you what. So I do that. I wear gloves for this. And if your hands are sensitive too, you know, you want to be able to see, once you open it up, you have these veins in here. You want to remove them as much as you can. Beautiful. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we toss those in there. Some come with heads and some don't. Las cabecitas, my mom used to say. That means heads in Spanish. Cabecitas. So you dump them all out. You don't want the seeds, I'll tell you that. Okay, so this one was easier. So, and this one was a little tougher. So you're gonna see a variety of different, some peppers are just tougher than others, but you just wanna get in there and just get all those little seeds. You could save all these seeds and throw them in your garden, right? Next year. Yeah. Perfect. Mira. So you got the little top, and I'm telling you, this is tougher. Okay, maybe I'll use my knife on this one. Okay. So you open this up. Let's see. Now look at this. This is full of seeds. Híjole. Throw a garden for the community. Ah, yeah. It's a leathery feel too. Perfect. Uno más. And like I said, I had peeled this one open, but these seeds, see how they stuck in there? Just move them around a little bit. Try to remove them, and they'll come off when you steam them too. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we do that. So now we're gonna take them over and we're gonna roast them up a little bit to give it that roasted flavor. Let's do it. Let's check on our meat, see how it's doing. Oh, it's nice and boiling. It's a good time to bring our heat down to like a little on like a medium high, about like that. Perfect. Now let's go over to our peppers. Like I said, I like to roast mine just for a little bit. And so I'm gonna toss these on, and that's gonna go pretty fast. So I wanna just put them on here. They don't have to be all open. Just toss them on here like as much as you can. This process is gonna go pretty fast. So let them go for a little bit. Then I'm just gonna remove them as they're cooking. And this is for like just a couple minutes. These go pretty darn fast. All right, perfect. So let's take these off. I'm gonna flip these over. This one's, ooh, this has got a little red on it. Yeah, this one's ready to come off. Perfect. And just a little light toast. Oh, that one doesn't want to flip. Okay. Oh, this one's ready. See what I'm saying? They go pretty darn fast. So let's throw on the next batch. And then we'll get them into some water. So now I'm gonna take 8 garlic cloves, and I'm just gonna toast them up a little bit until they're kind of nice and toasty. It won't take long. Perfect. See, you saw them dancing around, and I think they're ready to come off the griddle. So we'll remove these, and we're gonna save them for our sauce, okay? So now that my chilies are nice and toasty, we're gonna run them in hot water, okay? Real hot. That's why I'm putting my gloves on here. So I'm just gonna give it a quick rinse. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and toss them in a skillet here. I'm just going to fill it to the top with hot water. Okay, we're going to fill them just like that. I'm going to let it sit for about 20 minutes. And we're going to cover them, put a lid on it, and seal it. Just like that. You can, there's another option, you can put them on the stove and you can boil them, but it does take a lot of, I think it takes some of the flavor away from the chili. So we want to just keep them nice and steamy for about 20 minutes. Okay. Now for the sauce that you've all been waiting for. Here are some of the ingredients, and we're going to be starting out with our little ginger. Okay, and I took a chunk. So what you want to do is you just want to peel it, just a little peel. You see, it's about an inch. It's not too much. And oh, I love the smell of ginger. Do you? I sure do. So we're gonna go ahead and toss that in. I'm just gonna quarter it because it's a little thick. Toss that. I got 3 bay leaves. So on the bay leaves, we're just gonna toss them right in. And you're gonna use 1 stick of cinnamon. So I'm gonna actually cut that in half. You don't need the whole thing, so about, just half of that. That's all you'll need for this. So we're gonna go ahead and toss that in. And what I have here is the broth and the different juices that are gonna go into this. So we have a cup of the beef broth. And you can use the store-bought if you'd like, or just go ahead and just grab some of the broth from your meat. And then we have about a 1/4 cup of the apple cider vinegar. And you don't need any salt for this recipe because you've got all these flavors in here. Yum! And we've got about 8 of the garlic that we roasted, remember? Toss those babies in there. And 2 teaspoons of the cumin. And I'm using the ground cumin. You can go ahead and use a seeded if you have as well, but I prefer the ground. I'm gonna toss that. And then 2 teaspoons of the oregano, and I'm using the Mexican oregano. And if you don't have that, you can get it in your store. A lot of these, let me just tell you, a lot of these spices you can get at the Mexican store as well. La carniceria también, you can get it there. So toss that in there, all those spices, and a 1/2 teaspoon of the pepper, and I'm using the coarse pepper. Voila. And about 6 to 8 cloves, depending on the size. So they're really small cloves. All you'll need for this is now on the peppers, they've been steaming. Nice. Oh my goodness. And what we're gonna do before I take them out is I'm gonna pull out about a cup. Oh, here we go. A cup of the juice of the chili. I'm gonna add that right in. Voila. Now we're gonna toss our chilies right in. And they're a little, they could be a little rough, but we're gonna blend these as much as we can. So we're gonna toss these in. Oh, the aromas are incredible. Right, Ian? Eh? Do I hear something? He's nodding. I'm telling you, the kid does have a voice. He does. These are nice and roasted, and you're going to taste the flavors. Beautiful. The guajillo and the ancho for this recipe. Beautiful. Okay. So now, here's where the fun comes in. I'm going to go ahead and blend this baby. All right. Let me get the front. Ay. Come on. You can squeeze in there. See? So we're going to turn it on. We're going to just... Thank you, E. That's all you need, right? Hey, that has happened before. So let's go ahead and get this baby going. We're going to go ahead and start it out. I'm going to blend it. This is when you dance. Woo, look at the richness. Oh my. I'm gonna check it. Whoa. Let me grab a little spoon here. Just whip it around and just see how smooth that is. And you know, if it's too chunky yet because of the chilies, you may have to strain it too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just let it blend a little bit longer and then we'll check it out, okay? So now my sauce is all blended nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the top. I'm gonna strain this a little bit because I feel like it's a little on the chunky side. So I'm gonna go ahead and just strain it. Let's do it like this. I'm just gonna, so it'd be nice and thin. This could take a little bit, but it's not that bad. It's gonna be nice and clear, and that's what you want. Okay, so, and let it drain out a little bit, and then I'm gonna add a little water to my blender. That way you can, all the juices in there. You don't wanna miss out too much. Okay, just like that. So I'll continue and then we'll get to the next step, okay? Whee! Oh, does that look beautiful? My goodness, I'm gonna set this aside. Oh my, as you can see, the meat's already like ready to shred. So it's nice and tender. Okay, and I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, you know, our sauce. Our sauce turned out just beautifully, and I've already removed about a cup of the sauce because we're gonna use that for our dipping. And this is what came out of that. That's why you want to strain it. You don't want that in your stuff. So, okay, so we're gonna put this aside. I'm gonna rinse this off. I'm gonna remove my onion for now, because I want to use it back into the meat. So I can just set that aside. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my sauce right into the meat. Look how smooth and beautiful that is. Oh, it's saying, it feels so good. The meat is so tender right now. I'm gonna let this simmer up. I'm gonna stir it up a little bit. Set this over here. I'm gonna stir it. Get it into all the meat. Saturate it. Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. And I'm gonna cook this up for another 15 minutes just to get it right in, get the juices right into the meat. Then we'll shred it, okay? I'm gonna turn it up a little bit and put a lid on it, and we'll be back in a few. Okay, oh, beautiful. This has been simmering for a little over 20 minutes. That looks beautiful. I'm gonna turn this off. Then I'm gonna just remove my meat. Okay, it's nice and tender. Oh yeah, it's gonna be ready to shred here in a few. So we're gonna let it cool off. I'm gonna just put it all on my tray here. Easy peasy. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set this and bring it over. Ooh la la, it's nice and steamy, but I don't want to get my fingers into it just yet. I'm gonna set this aside and let it cool off. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and just get my my knife here, and we're gonna dice our onion, and I'm using one large onion. You don't have to use the whole thing, you know, but I'm gonna just dice it. Want to cut these, Ian? He doesn't want to start crying. I know. So we're gonna go ahead and just dice these up. Perfect. I just put this aside for right now. I think this is about it. This is a big onion. That was a large onion. So I'm gonna dice these up. I've been dicing onions forever, so it doesn't faze me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoop these babies in a bowl for right now. Oh, there's a big piece. Dice them up as fine as you want. Doesn't. We love onions in this house. Like I said, almost every show I say that. We love our onions. We do. So, and then for, you know, let me just tell you, you don't have to take all the leaves off. And what I do is my mom used to always tell me, you know, leave the stem in, because when you leave the stem in, you need a nice big bunch like this, okay? So, and it's up to you, but I like to use all the cilantro. So you want to go ahead and just chop this up. Oh, I should have done my cheese first. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put this on this side, because I'm going to need another bowl for my cheese. Oaxaca cheese. Now that's a Mexican cheese, but you could use a mozzarella if you can't find this. And I did find it at my local grocery stores, so a lot of this you can get at your stores. So Oaxaca. I should get you the bag. I'll show you before the show's over what it looks like, the packaging. So we're gonna go ahead and just shred this. Oh, and it's so creamy. It's so creamy. And I actually like this a little bit better than my mozzarella, you know. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep shredding. Oh, look how beautiful that is. And yes, you're gonna use all this cheese, I'll tell you what. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside over here. I'm just gonna move everything, because now I'm gonna scoop it. Perfect. It's all gonna go in one plate, so it's no big deal. And now your meat, look how beautiful this is. Okay, it's cooling off a little bit, but I'm gonna throw my onion over here. And I'm gonna just take a couple forks and just show you how beautiful that is. It's just gonna shred apart, nice and easy. And there's some fatty fat in there, and what you don't want to remove all of it. Okay, so I'm just showing you a little bit here, because I'm going to use my fingers here in a little bit to remove it, and I'll get my gloves on. But nice and shredded, just like that. So I'll get my gloves on, I'll get started. Then I'll show you the process, the end result. Okay. Ooh la la, look how beautiful this is. The meat is nicely shredded. And remember that onion that I was cooking it with? Well, we diced that up. I just cut it up and just put it right into the meat. So what I'm gonna do is, remember those bones that I had from the shank meat? Okay, I'm gonna just set those aside, because I'm gonna use those. I'm gonna freeze them, and I make my broth with them. So, you know, they have a lot of good use as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little meat over here, because I'm gonna fill my tortillas up. Just like that. Oh, the aromas are incredible. Yum. Okay, and I know he had a couple bites, so this is all good. Alrighty then. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it right over. I got my skillet going right now. It's nice and cooking. So I'm gonna set this aside over here, and we're gonna use our corn tortillas. Now, typically, you know, you can use, corn tortillas, the traditional way of doing it, but guess what? I also have flour tortillas because my husband, Mr. Lindita, we're gonna dip that just like that and put it in our skillet. We're gonna start out with the corn tortillas. Corn tortillas. Tortillas? Just kidding. Okay. Put a little sauce on that. Let them cook up a little bit into like just a low medium. We'll get them nice and crunchy. And I did use a canola oil for this, and you know, so you can just see how this is going. You want it to kind of fry up a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and just add our cheese. Oh, there's a little cilantro in there. As much cheese as you want. Yay. Beautiful. I'm going to add a little bit more over here. I'm going to add some meat. My mouth is watering. Perfect. I'm gonna let those cook up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add some cilantro and onion. Beautiful. I think it's ready to flip. I think I'm gonna use my other spatula. Oh, beautiful. I'll move this over a little bit. Flip this over on this side. Étale, there you go. Beautiful. This is perfect. You can get them a little on the crispier side if you'd like. So I'm gonna set these aside. Beautiful. Ay, mis amigos, is your mouth watering? Well, mine is, and this recipe is so delicious. You and your family are going to enjoy it. And you know what you could do with this recipe as well? You could make a little soup with it. You don't have to use the tortillas. And when you have it, you can dip it right into the sauce. And you're just gonna taste the love. And you want more love? Sprinkle in some Linditas. Go to linditasalsa.com for all our recipes. And until next time, my friends, enjoy y salud.